So the Trump administration just executed another individual without trial, without crime, without any accusation. Fucking hell. I'm going to start that again. Well, the Trump administration just executed another person, a 37-year-old man, according to reporting. They've not named him yet, but he was held down by 6 or 7 ICE agents. Haha, 6, 7, very funny. He was held down by a crowd of ICE agents while another one emptied his weapon into the guy. He got mag dumped, essentially, this guy, who was, according to all evidence, just filming them and not doing anything else. They tackled him, they pinned him down, and they shot him. He's now no longer with us. I've actually got a photo here. This is what the guy looks like. So, for God's sake, you can just see he's filming. That's all he's doing, right? DHS have already put out a statement saying that he was armed, that he was carrying a semi-automatic weapon. There's literally no evidence of that. There is no, there is video footage of the incident. You can find a video of this happening. I can't show it to you, but I found, the version that alerted me on Instagram. You could probably find it in lots of different places. And you can hear the shots. You see the man lose his life. You do not at any time see him with a weapon or reach for a weapon or even able to reach for a weapon because he is being pinned down by 6, 7, 8 guys and he's like not able to move. They are controlling his limbs. Okay. What are we even doing at this point? Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, okay, what happened to Renee Nicole Good? It's exactly the same thing. And it's now been designated as a homicide. That has been designated a homicide, and rightly so. This is just so much more blatant. It's unbelievable. It defies comprehension how blatant this behavior is, right? This is just straight up like the kind of stuff you read about when you read about the campaigns of African warlords in the 1970s and 80s, where they just send bands of masked, crazed extremists into communities to terrorize and attack people that they don't like. Okay, that's where the United States is now. That is the level that Donald Trump has brought the United States down to. The only, there are no positives to this. There is no funny or witty thing I can say about it. The only consolation I take is that Kristi Noem is only 53 years old, which means she's got a good 20, 25 years left in her to spend in prison once the pendulum swings back. Because the only person who is protected by the Supreme Court's ruling on official acts as president, that's Trump. And Trump is the only one protected by that. So he is not going to be protecting anyone else. And that immunity doesn't apply to anyone else. So Kristi Noem, fingers crossed, she will be hauled in front of a judge once the pendulum swings back. That's why I only back candidates that are, as extreme as possible when it comes to achieving justice and bringing these animals to justice. Because these are not public servants. These are not, they call themselves federal agents. These are Proud Boys. Okay, these are far-right extremist volunteers that signed up for a big fat paycheck because ICE was given that massive funding bill that Democrats have been complicit in. Right? Democrats, recently 7 Democrats broke to vote for ICE's recent funding bill. And now this has happened. So some of those establishment Democrats are just as complicit as Republicans in this absolute monstrosity of an administration and what their, Gestapo wannabe are doing. Absolutely outrageous. These are just thugs. These are Proud Boys. These are the former far-right protesters that you used to see all the time during the Biden administration. The reason you don't hear about the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers or the 3%ers, rather, sorry. The reason you don't hear about them anymore is because they've all got jobs now because they've all joined ICE. These used to be unemployed nobodies. That's why they were at every protest, waving their flags and crying about COVID masks. And now they're all working for ICE, wearing different kinds of masks and just straight up executing people and getting away with it for now. I say for now because, like I say, these people are only safe as long as Trump is on his little throne, right? The internet identified the man who shot Renee Nicole Good in 24 hours. I don't imagine these guys are going to take that much longer, and the prosecutions will just begin the moment Trump is out of power because that's the only thing keeping these guys safe and immune from the law, as it were. The immunity that J.D. Vance decided that they have, even though he immediately backtracked on it because he knows that, like everyone else, he will be hauled in front of a court at some point for his complicity in this. Once again, I'm sorry, there's nothing funny or clever I can say about it. For a 37-year-old man who's lost his life. And there's been no due process, obviously, happened in the streets, but no anything, no sense that, anyone is going to do anything about it. And the protests have been insane. Right, the protests just seem so many people out in the freezing cold weather to protest. And weather is a huge deciding factor on protests. If the weather is good, more people will be out. If the weather is blizzardy, as it is right now in Minnesota, it's cold up there. There are less people protesting. So when it comes to spring and summer, the Trump administration is going to have one hell of a situation on their hands, because their behavior and tactics are only going to get more and more extreme as Trump gets more and more afraid of the midterms. So we're looking at a spicy summer coming if this is how they've just decided they're going to do things. The only thing I'd say is that conservative politics have been cooked by this. Like, there's no sense that we're going to be able to have like respectful dialogue with conservatives once this is all over, because the people who are backing this, the people who are cheering this on, the people who are justifying this, they are people who depend on the paradox of tolerance. For liberals, progressives, leftists, whatever you want to call them, the paradox of tolerance, this idea that we have to tolerate everyone, even people who want to put you in camps. Overall, it's just yet another black stain on the history of the United States, one of many black stains that have emerged and been added to the pile in the year or so since Donald Trump came back into office. This administration is absolutely falling apart, but they are so desperate that they will attempt to escalate the violence. And it's really important that if you're watching this and you're in one of those situations where that becomes near you, you need to try and keep yourself safe. You need to keep your loved ones safe. You need to look after yourself. It's essential. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. Ciao, ciao.